Good evening. I was determined to go outside and do something garden job wise, just a small job and sorting out the hellebores without taking my phone. But I've come back into the house to get my phone because A, it's so satisfying, and B, it's really taught me that our work last year was worthwhile, and so I thought I'd share some of that with you and how I can see the signs of that, so that you can see the purpose to our habit tracker, and the purpose to just keeping on top of things, even when it's so hard. There's so much to do, but the purpose of the habit tracker is to help you keep a track of what really needs doing now and what doesn't need doing now, and hopefully this will be a good example. So I've popped a head torch on so that you can see what I'm doing, and I hope it's not too glary. It is just after 4, and it's definitely getting longer. The days are definitely getting longer, but it's still definitely dusk-like. Fine for my eyes, but not great for camera. So I came out to sort our hellebores out. We don't have a huge plot of hellebores, probably 60 or 70 plants, and they are going into their 3rd season. And I've just been cutting back this old foliage here, so that we can get at our new flowers that are coming out. Now, I know that this is a job that lots of growers will have done in November, partly to get it out of the way, and partly because it's a really good time to do it. And the reason that we're cutting back the foliage is to make sure that we don't provide places for slugs to make their homes, and to just make space for that new growth to come through without disease. Now, I have probably left it a little bit late, because you can see that we've got lots of new flowers coming out, which is really exciting. And whilst I've left a little bit late, I do like to leave it a little bit longer than autumn because it makes it easier to weed. So I can see where my plants are when I've cut back the leaves, and so I'm not going to damage the crowns of them whilst I'm doing that. Now, what I really wanted to show you was that we have new flowers and like lots of new growth. So they're going into their 3rd season. There was just 1 flower in the first year, 2 or 3 last year, depending on plants, and lots of these have got 3, 4, 5 buds coming out, which is really exciting. Last year was a hard year for growers, we all know that. We've had those freezing temperatures at the back end of it, but it's the sun and the heat of summer that really worried lots of us, especially when we've invested in perennials that are in the ground. So annuals, even if they find it hard, they are going to come and they're going to go, and we're going to replant them. But perennials really needed to be looking after them so that we knew that they were going to come back the following year. And that means that we needed to know, I'm just going to turn the screen around. So one of the things that we really needed to know last year was that we were mulching enough and that we were watering enough in terms of our perennial plants. And that's really difficult to know because actually the evidence of that isn't shown until the following year. So with our peonies, we weren't going to know if we'd looked after them well enough until late autumn, when we can start to see those kind of red pointy shoots coming through. And the same for our hellebores. So I can see green leaves, but I can't tell what's going on underneath the ground and what our flower production is like until they start to show, which wouldn't have been until back end of, well, November, probably early December really, by which time it's too late to do anything about it. It's a little bit dark. I'm going to go inside so you can see me a little bit better. Okay, so I'm back inside. It's now officially just too dark for me to carry on outside, but I'm really pleased. I got the first bed of hellebores just cut back, so all that foliage is gone, and I've uncovered the tops of the crowns of the hellebores, taken the leaves off and removed any slugs that I can see. I will get that bed weeded tomorrow and give everything a feed, and then we'll get it mulched, and that will be it really for the year. In terms of that bed, we might give a second weed later in the year, but actually last year we didn't. We just left it. We added extra mulch to it, but we didn't weed it, and we watered it a bit more. So that was our technique. We watered it with a watering can from the water butts, so we kept some of them aside and we didn't use them elsewhere, and we just used them at the front in the shade beds on 3 or 4 plants. So those 3 or 4 plants, which all have the same kind of weed mulch at this time of the year, and I'll show you that, are the hydrangeas, the hellebores, aruncus, and astilbe. The roses did get water through the year, did get a further weed through the year, and got remulched twice and fed because they're a super important crop that keeps on going throughout the year. So we can't just look after them once. So it's really not, that's a bit harsh. It's not that we look after the hellebores just once, but what we do is give them a really good set of care and treatment now, so that they will look after themselves, other than watering probably 2 or 3 times across the year, until this time next year, which is astounding really. But it's one of the ways that we just try and make things a little bit more efficient. We put in lots of time and energy and do the job properly first time, and then hopefully lots of things are okay. Anyway, that is me for now. I'll show you how we mulch them tomorrow, and I'll talk you through what we've used, but really anything that you've got that will do a good mulch is what you're after. So I'm certainly not being specific. Right, time to get these shiny waterproofs off, make tea, and spend some time with the kidlets. Have a good evening.